What is up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Cologne, and this is my news reaction to The Rock is a member of the Bloodline. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you are notified when the City of Rasslin drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian underscore 180 on all social media platforms. Man, let's get into it. Man, that SmackDown Friday night, oh my goodness, man. The last 10 minutes, there were so many things that were happening with The Rock coming out, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, that whole thing, that this was really cool and really fun. I enjoyed this segment. Um, First things first, Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, they all come out. Now, you with the Bloodline, you really have to pay attention to the details because there's always some type of foreshadowing, whether it's a camera angle, um, the clothing they wear, how they stand, where they stand, just a lot of mannerisms that you got to pay attention to, because down the line, they might call back to that. They kind of did that with Sami Zayn, Jimmy and Jey Uso. They did a lot of stuff like that, but this promo between The Rock and Roman Reigns, man, this was some good stuff, man. But let's get into it. So, Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, they all come out. And one thing that stood out to me is that Roman and Solo had black clothing. Jimmy had red clothing. Um, how does this play into anything? I'll get into this a little bit later in the video, but um, Solo has always been Roman's guy. Like, wherever Roman goes, Solo goes. Jimmy, however, has been the one that's turned on Roman and come back. So you have that little symbolism, like, okay, Jimmy is, yeah, he's with them, but he's not with them. And you got Solo, that's with Roman and everything. So you have that thing. That's what stood out to me. But the biggest thing that stood out, and I think anybody can agree, is The Rock coming out. He came out with a gold chain, Versace vest, black slacks, and sunglasses. This was, if you didn't catch it, this was a combination of when he was with the Nation of Domination, when he was the Corporate Rock in '99, and the Hollywood Rock from 2003. It was like a combination of all his heel personas wrapped up into one, to where it's now the board member Rock, if you can call it that. I thought it was really cool. As soon as he came out, I was just like, ooh, we got heel Rock. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be, whew, we're in for a good ride. And lo and behold, this was really good. For me, it was really good. But at the same time, there are some things in this promo that's like, okay, we're getting heel Rock, but are we getting heel Rock that's turning on Cody? Or are we getting heel Rock that is going to swerve Roman Reigns? And what do I mean by that? I'll get into that a little bit in this video. Rock comes out. Of course, Roman, another thing that stood out to me, Roman mentions tonight is the first night that The Rock is a member of the Bloodline. So now we have to start asking the question, what is the Bloodline? Now, of course, we saw the press conference. They had the Bloodline tree and everything. That's The Rock's interpretation of the Bloodline. But what is Roman Reigns' interpretation of the Bloodline? That's the difference. Because we all pretty much assume that The Rock is a part of the Bloodline. But then again, it makes sense that Roman Reigns would have a different interpretation of the Bloodline from The Rock, because think about it. We have not had Naomi, Tamina Snuka, nor Nia Jax in the Bloodline, which most people have said they should be in the Bloodline. But why aren't they in the Bloodline? It makes sense because Roman Reigns has a different interpretation of what the Bloodline is from what The Rock says. Because think about it, The Rock is the one who put up the graphic of the Bloodline members and everything. Roman Reigns, in 3 years that he has been the WWE champion and he's brought his cousins in and everything, or let me phrase that, Jimmy and Jay Uso and Solo. He hasn't brought in any other members or anything, well, until The Rock Friday. So, again, that's the big question. What is the Bloodline to Roman Reigns? Because it seems to be that the Bloodline has a different interpretation and meaning to Roman as opposed to The Rock. Something to pay attention to, folks. The Rock, he mentions, you all brought out this side of The Rock you haven't seen in years. This side of The Rock has always been in here. Everything that he mentions about the crowd, Cody, go watch it. Like, I am not going to do it justice repeating it or trying to, like, you have to watch it. He does mention the Utah Jazz, the Kansas City Chiefs, 49ers, Michael Jordan in Utah, which I cracked up being Chicago, and I was like, ha, 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 that's funny. It was kind of fragmented somewhat how he used the description. He's like, they lost, and then they came back, but it's like, you do realize the Utah Jazz lost twice, and they haven't been back since. So I mean, that would have been more effective than they lost, and that's just my opinion. But here's where things get interesting with this promo with The Rock and Roman Reigns. So he mentions, Cody Rhodes, I will make sure you walk out of WrestleMania exactly what you are, and that's a loser. Now, as he begins this promo, it's a shot of The Rock. As he continues this promo, you get a wide shot, a wide angle shot of The Rock pointing in the direction, what looks like he's pointing in the direction of Roman Reigns, as he says, you're going to walk out a WrestleMania as a loser. Now, mind you, he's saying this to Cody, but yet he's pointing at The Rock. Again, these are little details that you got to pay attention to. And as he says that, you have Jimmy, looking off in a different direction. You have Paul Heyman and Solo looking like, And you have Roman Reigns looking out into the crowd just in his own world. Again, what this comes down to is, what is Roman? Man, we've never really been told what's Roman Reigns' interpretation of the Bloodline. If we really think about it in detail, we've never really gotten that. He's mentioned in general what the Bloodline is with his cousins, with Jimmy, Jay, and Solo. But that's it. Like, think about it. Why hasn't Naomi joined the Bloodline? Why hasn't Tamina joined the Bloodline? Why hasn't Nia Jax joined the Bloodline? That's something to think about. And of course, I know people are like, well, backstage, like, no. On screen as a story, why haven't they joined? Because Roman Reigns has a different interpretation of the Bloodline than The Rock. It makes sense. But go back and watch that clip. That was, I didn't notice that at first, but then as I've watched this promo in this segment over and over again, I was like, oh my God, they didn't do that. That wasn't just, oh, we're just gonna cut. Like, no, that was purposely intended to, like, send a message like, like, okay. So again, there's a lot of assumption. We don't know what's gonna happen next. Hey, is The Rock gonna help Roman defeat Cody? Is The Rock gonna turn on Cody and cost Roman the championship? Another thing that we have to look at, and this is another line that at first I was like, oh yeah, but then it's like, oh wait a minute, it hit me. It's like, now this backs up what this camera shot was doing, because right after that, The Rock mentions, Cody, your story is just ending. Our story is just beginning. That makes sense. Now, if Cody's story is just ending and The Rock is pointing at Roman, that is some good foreshadowing of what could be possibly happening in the next year or so with Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. So that's pretty interesting. That's something to keep in mind. And our story is just beginning. So it's, man, I love this. I love this. Let me know what you guys think about the story. I really love this this segment because this segment set up so much going forward, and I'm actually looking forward to what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw if The Rock and Roman Reigns are going to be there. If not, looking forward to seeing Cody and Seth's response to this. There's just a lot of intrigue with this story. Another key thing about this promo that The Rock mentioned, and I didn't catch this the first time, but then I was like, oh, wait a minute, what? And he mentions the Bloodline, the most powerful, dominant duo in sports entertainment, and of course, WWE. Hold on. I thought the Bloodline is Roman, Jimmy, Solo, Paul Heyman, and then at a time, Jey Uso. How is the Bloodline the dominant duo two? So right away, is Roman separating Solo and Jimmy away from Roman and even Paul Heyman? Because think about it. With Paul Heyman, you've seen him in backstage segments with Braun Breaker. So is this some foreshadowing that Paul Heyman's going to be pushed out? Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso are going to be pushed out. And what I mean by pushed out is The Rock is slowly putting all of Roman's securities out, where now it's just Roman Reigns and The Rock. He doesn't have the wise man. He doesn't have his muscle in Solo. He doesn't have the the middleman that's does the dirty work in Jimmy Uso. Now it's just Roman and The Rock. And that's and I caught that. I was like, wait a minute. The most powerful dominant duo in sports entertainment. Huh? Like, wait a minute. It's four of you guys. How is it two? A duo, two? What? So it's like, okay. There we go. That's And last but not least, when The Rock at the end of this promo, he says, if you smell what the Bloodline is cooking, all of them, they throw up the one, but The Rock throws up this. Now, we could say, oh, that was intentional, or, maybe you forgot. No. You know it's the one, but if he's throwing up the L, some foreshadowing. So that's what I got out of this, is that this is some major foreshadowing of The Rock costing Roman Reigns the world title, where Cody Rhodes defeats Roman Reigns. But then going even further, this was some foreshadowing of The Rock eventually, making it, how do I put this? Like I said, pushing out Solo and Jimmy, where they do their own thing. Paul Heyman does his own thing, which might be with Braun Breaker. And then it's just Roman and The Rock, where now Roman has nobody to support him or back him up but him. And it's just mano y mano. That's what I think is it's setting up. This is going to be really cool. I know people have mentioned, hey, what is the possibility of, we get Stone Cold involved in this and everything. Me personally, anything's possible. I wouldn't mind it. That would be another icing on the cake. Just like, oh my God, this is, Stone Cold Steve Austin helping Cody Rhodes, and they're all in on this whole ruse to get the title off of Roman Reigns, which is that is some elaborate planning to do this. But at the same time, it would make so much sense considering how Roman Reigns has, the character in the Bloodline, has um, just manipulated his way to being champ. Think about it. What is the biggest complaint about Roman Reigns matches? It all in the last year and a half or so is that they all end the same. There's interference, there's this, there's that. How do you get rid of that? Gee, The Rock pushes Solo and Jimmy away. He pushes Heyman away. Now Roman has nobody to depend on. And it also makes sense because at last year's WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes lost because of Solo Sikoa interfering. Will there be interference at WrestleMania with Cody and Roman? Not this time. So that makes sense. There's a lot of callbacks to this promo. Go back and watch The Rock's promo and ironically February 20th, 2023, when he pretty much came out as Hollywood Rock and everything. But there's a lot of callbacks and symbolisms to this. I'm trying to think of another callback between Rock, this segment, to something The Rock did years ago in the early 2000s. I can't remember what it was, but there was something. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what it was, but it was some foreshadowing and everything. So I mean, also the other foreshadowing that just came to me is that at the end when you see The Rock throw up the L and if you smell what the Bloodline is cooking, this is also a callback to when he turned on Farouk. Go back and watch that. That is a callback. The Rock, like it or not, whatever The Rock is doing, man, this is some really cool creative stuff. This is a callback to when he turned on Farouk, except the roles are reversed. Somewhat. I shouldn't say they're exactly reversed, but you guys get what I'm saying. That now it's like, fast forward, this is The Rock being the vet, but he's doing it instead of to Farouk, he's doing it to Roman. And what happened with that? The Rock wound up getting everybody in the nation behind him, and he kicked out Farouk. So, man, there's a lot of cool foreshadowing and just symbolism in this segment. But, man, I love it. I'm really interested to see where this goes and how this is going to go. That Farouk thing, that just came to me right now. But, yeah, that's the one. So let's see how this plays out and everything. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. This angle's hot. There's a lot of stuff in pro wrestling that's hot, man. This is fun. If you're a wrestling fan, this is good. This is some good stuff. And man, enjoy the ride. Let me know what you guys think of this. The Rock is a member of the Bloodline, but there's so much to this, and we're in for a fun ride. So let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification so that way you are notified when the City of Wrestling drops its latest content. Follow me, Dedrian_180 on all social media platforms. Folks, WrestleMania. Whew, can't wait. And like I always say, there is never a dull moment in the world of professional wrestling. And with that, folks, I'll see you next time.